What's up, guys? We got another game above 2000 that we just got crushed. If you look at the graph, you'll see all the black. That means black is crushing me. I made one move that it wasn't like a peace blunder, but strategically led to my downfall very quickly. So we open up just with some regular developing moves. Queen's Gambit, declined. I just play normal stuff. Develop my bishop. Castle, he's playing the semi-Slav. Fine. He develops a knight. I push in the center. Seemed logical to me. He takes, I take, he trades. I trade. Now I know he's going to develop here with tempo. But I go back to this nice square. You know, ideas like that. He immediately attacks my center, so he knows what he's doing. Even if I don't. I mean, you could definitely take. I'm thinking. If you don't take, it's still protected, so you could probably just develop your bishop or your rook. This is a bit suboptimal, but I did it. He played his pawn to bring out his bishop. That makes sense. Again, we can take. But instead, I just decide to get my queen out of the way and put a rook here. So I move my queen. He takes. I have to take with something. I take with the bishop. He fianqueros. I decide to bring this rook in and hit the queen, so now the queen has to move. I wasn't expecting this square. I was expecting this square. Not sure what this square is about. And now in this position, all I had to do was go knight e5 and maintain what I have. I can also go bishop back just to stay solid. And then I can prepare doubling my rooks and everything's fine. I don't know what phased me to go knight g5. There's no threat here. There's no sacrifice here. I was looking and there's nothing. And if I go here because I want to take the knight and then take the pawn, once I go here he could just kick me. And I would have to go back or here. So this move actually doesn't have a purpose. So before I did that, I did solidify. Okay, fine. I made this move. He goes rook here. Wow, they wanted him to take. Let's say I take with my queen. And then rook c8 hitting this pawn. I don't mind that for me. I keep misclicking. Okay, that's why. He could have gone for that, but he goes rook here. And now I go knight g5, which makes no sense. I should go knight e5. But I went here, and not only is it bad, but it doesn't cover the c6 square, which encourages my opponent to do this. And now he's threatening mate in 1. I realize this has no purpose there, so I have to bring it back to where it started. So that's just so bad for me. 2 free moves, and Now he wins this pawn because it was double attacked. And now the game is basically over once I made this knight g5 move. But I'll try to defend. He won a pawn. I intercept. He stays very active, causing me problems. It may look weird, knight e1, but if I move the knight anywhere other than that, he's gonna checkmate me. And yeah, it's just not looking pretty. So I wanted to do something about his queen. And also, if I don't do anything, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. I'll have 3 pawns on the red squares. Not the end of the world with king g2, but I didn't want to allow it. So we went 91. And the bad thing about this is that he's up material, so he's just going to want to trade everything, which he did. And then we just get a series of trades, but with me being down a pawn. And it just gets worse. So now I'm like, oh, I'm just going to lose. Because he has this annoying move, and the problem with this move is if I move the bishop, he's going to get in. So I'm like 1 or 2 tempi short from being able to try to hold this. Like if my rook was already on the 2nd rank, but then I'd have back rank problems. So I go to defend my bishop. Doesn't actually work because basically if I take this way, he takes, I take, he puts his bishop here, I have to push, and he slowly wins the game. So I took with the pawn to try to keep the rooks on the board, but it doesn't work because again he applies pressure. You can't defend it unless you put your knight in front. Then he has this annoying pin, so you have to deal with all of this correctly. It's already lost. You can see that if you move the rook, the knight, the rook hangs. And e5 is coming. So let's say you move the rook here because you want to go here defending. If you go back, he's just going to kick your knight. And let's see, we go back. He could still trade if he wants. Let's just say he moves his king. We're stuck. We have nothing to do. So anyway, I played f4, stopping e5, kicking the knight. But then he just shifts his rook over, nice and calmly. And I guess I could go knight e2 or just make a non-losing move, but I knew I was losing here and I stopped calculating seriously, and I immediately blundered by keeping my king on this diagonal, because obviously his whole idea once I played f4, which opens this diagonal, his idea is to take here, and when I take, fork me. And I walked right into it. Of course I didn't take because that loses even faster. I just hopped my knight around, but now he's up 2 pawns. I just try to fight back, but there's nothing to do with 2 pawns up. Still hopping, still hoping he lands on a forkable square. Just moving my knight around the board. He kind of gets stuck a little here, even though it's completely winning. A little back and forth. Surprising he didn't know how to win faster and let me go through all this. He lets me take that pawn, but unless I can win another pawn, it's not going to matter. Now he's trying to promote, so I want to get my king here. Push my pawns, and now it's saying it's a draw. Can you believe this? But I have 30 seconds on my clock, and there's a 0% chance that I'm going to draw this. So, see? Already, king b2. Who would have thought? Instead, I make a losing move. And this no longer gets me to b2, I guess. And if I had went to b2, and he goes here anyway, knight d2, oh I see, then I can get to b3. So this is all in an effort. He gives me one turn to get my king to the light square b3. Instead, I just push the pawn. And now I'm just babysitting. Still a draw? How? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Still a draw. All I have to do is take this pawn with my knight. Knight d1. Knight d3. Knight c4. They're all draws. And I messed it up somehow. I need more time. So somehow he was crushing me. 2 pawns up in an endgame. And he lost them both. Still in it. Knight d3. That's what I did. Knight b2. Ah, b2, because then I get the check if he moves forward. And my dumbass went to e1. Ah, I was so close. We almost had him. It's okay. We lost our first game in the 2000s. We fought well. I'll take it. We're going to keep climbing. Road to 2100. Hopefully, we can learn some new openings, but probably won't happen.